Are you struggling to grow your show, which is leading to lower and lower conversions? You're going to want to hang around because I want to talk to you about the good, the bad, the deceptive of optimizing your podcast. What you think you know might not be the best way to grow your show. So let's do this. Welcome to the podcast about podcasting, where you guessed it, we're talking all things podcasting, but not just in the sense of strategy of how to launch, grow, and monetize your show. Of course, you're going to get that, but we're also going deep into how podcasting can help you with your self-care, build your community, build your confidence, and if you're willing to lean deep into this platform, it can be your ticket to the life of your dreams because it'll inspire you to go deeper with your self-love. And we all know success starts from within. If you are ready to stop being a ripple in this world and bust out your tsunami of change you know you were made for, it's podcasting for your soul. So let's dig in. First, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, social media. I have been personally a podcast mentor that has helped people promote on social media. I've been a production manager that has helped people promote on social media. I have taken classes about how to promote your podcast on social media. I have paid thousands and thousands of dollars to mentors that have taught me how to promote my episodes and my podcast on social media. Here's the thing. Can you get some people to jump over and grab your show? Yes, you can. But it's a lot of work for a little tiny bit of effort. So if all of your focus is on creating posts and going out and engaging and hunting and fishing for your audience and doing all those things, and you're spending, maybe an hour to an hour and a half on your podcast itself, and then 6 hours on social media, going live, trying to push them over, showing up in stories, creating reels about it, it's not converting. It's proven it's not converting. It's time to let go of the assumption that that is what's going to grow your show. The second thing is the getting guests on your show. You get big guests and you're like, oh, they're going to share it with their audience. Guess what? They might share it once and you get a couple little trickle feedback into there, but that's not how you're going to grow your show by leaps and bounds. And this is not me saying that collaborations are not good, because collaborations are freaking fantastic if done correctly. But I see so many people, especially pitching to this podcast and my other podcasts, and I'm like, you're not even a aligned fit. You're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. I get people on the show. They don't know how to interview. They don't know how to land, they know how to throw the spaghetti. They know how to take the plane off, but they sure as heck don't know how to land the plane that's going to get somebody to come to either their podcast or into their thing. So if you're going to use this strategy, you must use it correctly. So the other things that I find every time I get a new podcast production client is they actually haven't put their podcast out on all the different players. Depending on who you are hosting with, you go to the back end, to the distribution, and you just click the ones that they have. Maybe you've realized that you're not even on Apple Podcasts, because if you use something like Anchor, you have to set it up yourself. If you use any of them, you have to add to Apple on its own. None of them auto push to Apple. You must set that up. There's so many podcast players out there. The more you can get on, guess what? That's easy advertisement. That means you publish to your host and it automatically goes out through your RSS feed to all of those places. So make sure that you are in all of the places. Here's the other thing. I am 100% guilty of this, and you will see some shifts on this podcast and on my other podcast. The description, your show name, and your episode titles. We forget to do the foundational work. We get so excited, as a spiritual entrepreneur, a woman of woo, a woman of faith, one that is, walking in line of the Holy Spirit, God, Creator, Universe. We want to just spill from our hearts, which is great, and we will magnetize some people. But we really have to step into that divine masculine, that masculine structure of strategy, meaning you need to know your one person. You need to know your one message. You need to know your one solution. And then you know what you need to do? You need to do all of the SEO research. Don't know how to do it? Hire someone to help you. Understanding that, you can work backwards. So what's growing this show, because this show has not been on social media yet, but we're still growing. What is growing this show is the fact that I have planned my episode around keywords from that keyword research. But I first had to get crystal clear on who I was serving, how I was serving, what I was offering, and then doing that foundational work to set up those keywords. And yes, I hired someone from Fiverr to help me with that, and they were amazing. I have like 200 or 300 keywords, long tail keywords, just single keywords to use to put in my episode titles. I also need to go back and I need to fix my show title. I need to go back and fix my show description. The other thing that I want to talk about is the consumption rate. So why it's not working to convert from social media to your podcast is people are looking to consume fast. If they're on social media, they're used to 60-second hits, maybe 90 seconds now. So if your show is an hour long, they might just look at that and roll right over it. It's proven right now 10 to 15 minutes is the best. It's kind of that sweet spot. But there's also a couple of shows out there that do 2 minutes or less daily or every other day, and they are ranking in some of the top podcasts in the world. So really think about your listener when it comes to, how long your shows are. If you are planning your episodes, which I suggest you do based off of your keywords, maybe there's 3 core topics that go in there. Can each one of those be a mini hit episode? That would be so much easier for the consumer to consume, right? Although podcasting is the easiest way to consume, you might be sitting on the toilet right now, in the shower, driving someplace, going on a walk. It is easier to consume than any other media out there. But still, people have only so much time. So make sure that you are thinking about your audience. If they are busy corporate women, moms, they're not going to have a half an hour to sit down with you unless they can listen during like their workout or something if they're lucky. So make sure that you're actually serving your people. And that's the biggest thing right there, is that clarity piece. So for your homework and your action steps is I want you to look at your show. I want you to look at your show title. Is it searchable? If it's not, you can do like the Jennifer Dragonette show and then put a line and then put the podcast about podcasting or whatever it is. Mamas and macros was what I heard the other day. Things like that. Make sure that something is searchable in that. Then I want you to look at your podcast description. Is it full of keywords? Is it clear? Then look at your episode titles. Are they clear? Are they searchable? And then look at the length. Is it consumable for your audience? Because now you know you're one person, your one offering, your one solution. And then make sure that your podcast is on every player that you can find. Search, Google search, podcast players. And anywhere that you can submit your RSS feed from your host, do it. Don't count on whoever's your host to make you show up on everything. So to make your shorter episodes, make sure they're short and informative. And you can cluster episodes. Like I was saying, if you have one that has 3 steps, the 3 steps might be 3 different episodes. And then as for show notes, I'm still not convinced they're worth your time. If you're putting them onto a blog, they might be worth your time if you do them correctly. And if you do mini ones, you can also use them as Pinterest, which I think that since Pinterest is SEO driven and technically not, I don't know if Pinterest is considered social media, but it will drive if you plan your episode correctly and you put your Pinterest graphic correctly, you can drive a little bit for that. And then the other thing is you can put it on you can put it on a YouTube show, but I recommend creating its own platform, because here's the problem is YouTube looks at views and the view length. And if you have other ones that you're editing and making into something pretty, it might actually move the analytics down. So if you want to grow your show, come on in, come hang out. You can still grab the replays for the 3-day Soulful Profitable Podcasting with Flow. I will put the link in the comments, and you're going to walk away with a 30-day action plan to get your podcast growing, whether or not you choose to move forward. So yeah, there is, in all honesty, I do share an offer that I have, but whether you move forward with the offer or not, everyone walked away with a 30-day action plan to grow their show. So what do you have to lose? Anyways, I want to know where you are, what you're doing, how we can serve you. You can always come into our free community. It's the Feed Your Business with Love community on Facebook. I'll also add that into the show notes. We want to watch you rise. We want to watch your show hit the charts, get to the top, grow, monetize, so that your message can become more magnetized, so that you can really step out of being a ripple and step into your tsunami. So until next time, go out, make today amazing, because you are beautiful, you are wonderful, you are worthy, and you deserve to have the life that you desire, and you deserve to make the money that you desire, because you're meant for a bigger impact, and a bigger impact takes more money. So go do the thing.